everybody, and welcome to Gene's Reviews. Reviews from just a regular dude, where I do movie reviews, and I'll do trailer reactions. I react to YouTube videos, and I even review YouTube channels.
And whatever the hell I want.
Today I'm doing one from a most amazing top 10. And this is 10 scary ghosts only seen at 3 a.m. Keep my headphones on. And let's check this out right now.
What's up, Top 10 fam? Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Ayman Hassan and welcome back to another video. I think I can perfectly deal with a ghost during the day. Is it just me or is literally nothing scary when the sun's out? That's how I watch scary movies. I just watch them during the day because if I watch them at night, well, I just wouldn't be able to. But I feel like ghosts specifically like screwing you up more at night than during the day. After all, 3 a.m. is meant to be the devil's hour. So with that being said, here are the top 10 scary ghosts only seen at 3 a.m. Starting us off with number 10 is the Churail. So Akshvank, the teller of the story, is Indian, and in Hindi and Urdu the word Churail means witch. His mum told him the story of her uncle in the 60s walking to his mother's place a few miles away from his own. Mind you, it took a while to get there and it was nearing 3 a.m. at this point. He went through a wooded area and met a gorgeous woman wearing a sari and asked where she was going this late, and she named a random place and he offered to let her walk with him so she'd feel a bit safer. He already should have known something was sus. No girl walks alone at 3 a.m. in a forest. A few minutes into walking, the uncle realized this woman's feet were facing the opposite direction, like WTF. Thankfully, he had heard many stories about monsters and ghosts like that, so he knew some tricks to keep her at bay. He lit a cigarette and kept it lit the whole time whilst thinking of some Hindu mantras in his head. They got near a mango tree when the woman disappeared and he heard the most disgusting screech ever. The woman had climbed up the tree and shouted through Bach Gaya Aaj at the uncle, which means you were saved today. His uncle's advice to anyone that encounters a ghost at 3 a.m.? Never look behind you or they will get you. I believe you. I believe you. Coming in at number 9 is the Screamer. Redditor Fecal Trumpet confessed when he was around 10 or 11, his mum began waking up at 3 a.m. every night and letting out a blood-curdling scream. The user, his dad, and his brother would be terrified every time she did this, and she would always say she saw 3 tall shadows standing over her bed and that she would then have a nightmare about being attacked by an owl. She did this 4 times a week for months, and every night it was the exact same story. You'd think the woman would have gotten used to the owl attack by now, but clearly not. Either way, half a year later, the screaming stopped and all was rainbows and butterflies until the movie The Fourth Kind came out. The family went to see it, and in it the woman sees an owl, has a nightmare, wakes up screaming, and then talks about the 3 tall figures. Mind you, other than her boys, the mum hadn't told anyone about this, so how the hell was it so common and a movie? Apparently these 3 tall ghosts haunt not one, but many or all of us. Forget these actual ghosts, I can see a pile of laundry on my chair in the middle of the night and think that's a ghost. Like, there's just no hope for me here. At number 8...
That, I've heard of owls, you know, being linked to all that. Owls have always been creepy to me anyway, so...
We have The Patient. This one's from Redditor Zerbo, who worked for an ambulance company with his partner. At the company, all the EMTs had many stories to tell about Rig 12, the haunted ambulance. The user himself had never had any paranormal experiences himself, so he didn't really believe the Rig 12 stories until he experienced it himself. One night, him and his partner were working in a rural community at 3 a.m. Both of them were asleep, and a few minutes later he woke up to a muffled voice and he assumed it was his girlfriend talking, so he told her he was trying to sleep. Never get in the way of a man's beauty sleep, people. Never ever. Anyway, when he closed his eyes, he heard a deep male voice saying, "Oh my god, am I dying?" followed by a lot of heavy breathing. Both people shot up straight away, looking around and behind them for where the sound had come from. Then they heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator, and initially they thought someone had maybe broken into the ambulance, but when they checked the regulators, they were closed. They hadn't been touched. Suffice it to say, none of them could get get back to sleep afterwards. Filling our number 7 slot is the angry one. This one's from Melissa, who said when she was young she truly believed she had a ghost in her house. Her cousins would come and stay over at hers quite a bit, and they'd stay up as late as they could, you know, just for fun, as cousins do. One night they were all chilling in the living room, and at 3 AM a glass of water just went flying off the table. Everyone was sure no one had knocked it over by accident, and trying to calm themselves down they blamed it on a gush of wind coming through a window or like an open door somewhere. Either way, the next few days around the same time, things kept happening. Cabinets opening and closing, forks and knives just on the floor. It was starting to get out of hand, and even Alyssa's parents were worried. So much so that they got a priest to come in and do a kind of house exorcism. After a few weeks, they found out an old woman lived in their house before them but was murdered by her husband. She was one causing all the havoc when people were up way past their bedtimes in her house. Alyssa's family moved soon after, but she still has nightmares about it, and honestly, so would I. Don't you worry, Alyssa, you are not alone. I'll have nightmares on your behalf. Now, and
I think most of these people that see ghosts and everything, they shouldn't really be scared of it. Because I don't think they're malevolent, the majority of them.
Number 6 are the debaters. This story is from Marissa, who said she was staying at one of her friends one night, and amidst pillow fights and talking about boys, no, we don't actually do that at sleepovers, lol, but they slept quite late. But around 3 AM, Marissa woke up because of a noise. She was more than 100% sure she heard the kitchen cabinets opening and closing. It was so loud she went downstairs to check it out, but no one was in the kitchen, so she just assumed she was just hearing things, or maybe it was the neighbors. She brushed it off and went back to sleep, and when she woke up the next day, her friend was crying her eyes out. Marissa asked her what was up, and she said she woke up around 3ish and heard people in the kitchen saying things like, "We are not wanted here anymore, we aren't important." Now, based on Marissa, we know the kitchen was empty at 3 AM, so which Congress of Ghosts were having a meeting at that time, deciding they should probably not haunt this family anymore? I mean, civil, but still scary. Coming in,
I think these are just stories. That's what I think. Anyways, I saw a shadow one time, and it was a few years ago. It was back before I moved, and I was in the kitchen. It was really late at night, maybe 1, 2 in the morning, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a shadow, and I turned to look, and there was nothing there. And the thing is, I wasn't scared. I just figured kind of like, oh well, no big deal. I didn't feel threatened in any way at that.
At number 5 is my ghost. Yes guys, I try to include my own stories whenever I can because I feel like it just is more personal that way, and here is another one. Now, it's not the typical paranormal ghost you're thinking of that flipped me from my bed or threw my cat against the wall. God forbid, please don't do that. This has happened to me so many times, it's actually scary. I'll just be lying in bed, it'll be 3 AM, and almost immediately I just start thinking about the ghosts of my past. Should I have really said that? Was dating him a mistake? Did I really look cute with braces when I was a teen, or was I just fugly? These are the ghosts that stay with you forever, people, whether it's 3 AM or 3 PM. At number 4 is the picture. This one's from Kayla, who said her friends were sleeping over at her place, and as a joke, one of them said Bloody Mary in front of her basement mirror. Anticlimactic as hell, cause literally nothing happened, so after a while, everyone just went to bed. At 3 AM, Kayla woke up because it sounded like someone was pacing around in the room next to them, which was weird because that part of the basement wasn't even finished yet. As she was processing this, she realized her friends had also woken up from the sound, but no one was ballsy enough to check it out, so they kind of just bundled together and ignored it till they fell asleep again. The next day, nothing was really out of the blue, so the incident was sort of forgotten until a few days later. Kayla was just going through her camera roll when she saw a really weird picture. It was a picture of her friend staring into the mirror as she said Bloody Mary, except with a super dark filter. She knew that wasn't Instagram worthy, no I'm kidding, she knew she sure as didn't take that picture, and after asking everyone that came and realizing none of them took it either, I think Kayla had a legit case of the ghost of Bloody Mary on her hands. Filling our number 3 slot is It, not Pennywise, although in this story I feel like Pennywise would be the better alternative to what these people actually faced. Redditor Scooter said during his sophomore year at college, he lived in a double dorm with 3 of his friends. One night his roommate asked him what he was writing the night before, and the user was confused. The roommate said, said, you know, like around 3 I heard you writing something on your desk, but I thought it was a bit weird so I didn't want to turn around and look at you. The user was shocked since he was dead asleep at 3 AM, so where was this noise coming from in pitch black darkness at 3 AM? A few weekends later, everyone went home for the weekend except one of the roommates. He was plugging his Xbox into the TV at night when he turned around and saw a black figure run across the room. He dropped everything and slept in another dorm till the friends came back, and you guessed it, that was also at 3 AM. When the user came back, he was talking to someone outside his door when the person just went white as a sheet. He said he saw something crawling on all fours behind the user, and the user pissed himself. The final thing he saw was the shape of a person made from mist hovering in their bedroom. It was just legs and a torso, but it was misty and hovering, aka a ghost. Whatever it was, it would only come out and show itself at 3 AM, and the boys quickly requested for a new dorm after. I wouldn't just request a new dorm, I'd like request a refund. Like, give me my res money back, I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying to get haunted. Now,
I got a question. You always hear about people getting so scared they piss themselves or something. Has anyone ever done that? I mean, being scared I don't think is gonna make me pee.
Number 2 is the girlfriend. Redditor Bill_Murray42 said a female ghost has been terrorizing him and his girlfriend for quite a while now. Their building was built in the 20s, so when a bubble on their bathroom ceiling expanded and then exploded, they assumed it was just old pipes. But when they brought in a plumber, he couldn't find a source of the leak, and it wasn't coming from the apartment above them either. All the pipes were working completely fine too, so it just made no sense. The same thing happened in their kitchen as well, and the leaking would actually stop when the plumber went into the house and start again when he left. But things got worse. The couple would hear booted footsteps in their living room, their door opening, and then his girlfriend waking up sweating from nightmares, all the while with a massive feeling that they're both being watched. One night his girlfriend woke up at 3 AM to find the user standing in the middle of the living room just spaced out. He had no idea how he'd gotten there other than maybe being possessed by something. When his girlfriend started going on work trips, the ghost would target him even more, getting into bed with him, wrapping her ghost arms around him to the point the user could actually feel it. They asked the ghost to let them know if someone was there, and 3 bangs inside their bathroom followed. They theorized a girl must have drowned in this bathroom long ago, hence all the water, but in terms of targeting the user, maybe she's just lonely. Purgatory is lonely, people. And finally, at number 1 are 2 broken pieces. This one's from Eric Ogden, who said a few years ago he moved into an apartment on his own for the first time. Go you, Eric, I'm proud of you. In his bathroom there was a wooden board that covered a hole on the ceiling that led to his attic. A bit of a DIY solution, but the building was made in the 30s, so he wasn't too mad about it. A few months in, he came home from work, went into the bathroom and found that board broken in 2. It was a full inch thick, so either Bruce Lee broke it or something stronger did. He called his landlord and she said previous tenants had the same thing happen to them, but don't worry, she'll fix it. A month later, around 3 AM, Eric woke up covered in goosebumps. He felt like something was rubbing all over him, and before he could analyze it, he heard this dragging sound above his bed. He thought someone was living in his attic for sure, and after 5 minutes of growing a pair, he went outside with a cricket bat. Good move. I do support that, Eric. Again, he saw the board had been broken into 2, but at least the dragging sound had stopped. His heart calmed down for just a second, because after the dragging came the whispering. Children's whispers coming from the attic saying it's your turn over and over again. Then his budgie Dexter started screaming like he was being choked, and Eric had had enough and ran and sat in his car and waited till sunrise. When he went in, finally he found Dexter half drowned in the toilet, and when he called his landlord again, all she said was, "Oh wow, you heard the whispering too." That's something you should tell a tenant when you're leasing a place to them. Oh, by the way, it's haunted. Just let you know. And that's it for today's video, guys.
I don't know, I think they're just like creepypasta stories. But yeah, I guess that was okay, but nothing spectacular. That was from Most Amazing Top 10. Top 10 Scary Ghosts Only Seen at 3 AM. Anyways, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hashtag MeanGene, all that fun stuff. And I will see you next time.